Good morning. Our theme verse for this year's General Assembly is 1 John 3, verses 1 and 2. These verses declare a divine love and mercy that enable us to be called children of God. And so we are children of God. Though what we will become has not yet been revealed, we are children of God. This text is a confession of a present reality and also an anticipation of a future reality. It is both an affirmation and a celebration of identity, and then a challenge for us to live out of that identity and to live with one another and live in this world out of who we are. I want to apply this theme text today specifically to Cooperative Baptist Fellowship. My address this morning is an effort to hold before you two perspectives on CBF, both of which I believe are crucial to our identity, and then offer a biblical text that has been very important to me in my own understanding of our identity, and I think all of us, and then show how these two perspectives, along with this text, shape both our identity and our mission. It has been my rhetoric, and many others through the years, that in the past 20 years, the Spirit of God has moved among us to create a renewal movement of new life within the Baptist family. We've seen evidence of spiritual renewal, of congregational renewal, of theological renewal, of theological education renewal, of denominational renewal, and mission renewal. Out of this renewal has come a community of Baptist Christians and churches. Some have invested in it more than others. Some have been a part of it from the very beginning. Some were involved early but have now moved on. Some are new to this community, and there are others who will yet join in the future. To quote my friend Harold Phillips from Missouri in a recent email that he sent out, community is more descriptive of what we are becoming and what we want to be than other words like society or convention or association, and yes, even movement. Thank you, Harold. For many of us, this community has helped define our Christian identity and discipleship and our Baptist identity. It's been a place where either we could become Baptist or where we could remain as Baptists. It's been a place where we've been nourished and encouraged and nurtured, and yes, challenged and changed. We've experienced nothing less than a movement, a stirring, an awakening of God's Spirit within us and among us in powerful and creative and life-giving ways. Within this community, churches have been reborn with a missional vision. Young people have come from those churches into new seminaries to be educated and prepared for ministry. Hundreds of individuals have literally changed the place where they live to incarnate the gospel in a different culture as missionaries. We've prayed and we've given so that these brothers and sisters in Christ can fulfill their calling. From within this community, Baptist Christians have engaged in a broader community, advocating for human rights and religious liberty, working among the poor for social justice. We've seen the birth of new churches, the life-giving ministry of chaplains and pastoral counselors and ministers in specialized settings. We've experienced an awakening among us to global poverty and to the cry for social justice. We've celebrated our Baptist identity here in the U.S. as members of the North American Baptist Fellowship, what I might even say a rejuvenated North American Baptist Fellowship. We've helped facilitate a gathering of Baptists into one grand event called the New Baptist Covenant, and into several regional New Baptist Covenant events. And out of that, we have helped facilitate a new disaster response among Baptists that is unparalleled. We've celebrated as members of the Baptist World Alliance in the 400th anniversary celebration of the Baptist Witness, and we'll gather next month in Honolulu, Hawaii again with the quinquennium of BWA. With all my heart, I believe God has called and created Cooperative Baptist Fellowship, as well as a host of partnering ministries, into being. God has blessed us. God has worked through us. We've experienced life-changing relationships and transforming friendships. We've enjoyed one another in our state and regional and national gatherings. We've worshiped and wept together. We've prayed for one another, and we've learned from one another. We've been enriched. We've been enriched beyond measure by spiritual giants like Cecil Sherman. Cecil lived among us, worked among us, and led us. How can one speak of Cecil Sherman without thinking of this community, this fellowship? His exceptional courage, conviction, and conscience was lived out among us. I want to ask you to pause for a moment in reflection and in thanksgiving to God for our brother in this community and our brother in Christ, Cecil Sherman. Jeannie Sherman Brown is here this morning, and Bill and Vita are here. We want you to know we love you, and we thank God for your investment in this fellowship as well. In a moment of way, and for us to visibly show our thanksgiving, wouldn't you like to stand just for a moment in silence and in gratitude for our brother in community, Cecil Sherman? All of us, wouldn't you like to stand? And all God's people said, you may be seated.